What's the number one thing that you wish you could change about your physical health? Hello, friend. Welcome back to the Finding Freedom podcast, where we talk about how to feel more calm, connected, heart-centered, grateful, abundant, and empowered so you can find true freedom and create the life you were meant to be living. Today's podcast, I share with you a piece of my health journey and how I believe that my beliefs created my symptoms, not the food I was eating. Yes, you heard that right. This episode might bend your brain a little, and that's okay. Remember that what's true for me may not be true for you. However, I do encourage you to keep asking questions. Keep asking yourself, what if this was possible for me? What if the thing I believe is not actually true? What would that mean? What belief, thought, or way of being would I have to let go of for that to be real? Now, I do want to make a pretty firm disclaimer. This podcast and this episode are not medical advice. And while I don't have a doctor and probably never will again, I encourage you to make your own decisions about what's best for your body. And if you're not sure of what's best, then go and seek some guidance. But my podcast is purely to provoke your thoughts with, of course, the intention of helping you find true freedom. And it's also for entertainment purposes. So go listen, get curious, get inspired, ask the tough questions, wonder what's possible for you if ... And I'll see you next week for another episode of the Finding Freedom podcast. Thank you so much again for being here. I really, really cherish and value all of your support, and I love you. So why am I talking about physical health today? Because physical health connects to our energetic body, and this has a strong connection to the practices that I teach and work with. Living in this 3D world, we forget about the energetic because, well, we can't see it. All we can see is the physical, and so that's largely what people focus on. But I've said it before, and I'll continue to say it. Your health is largely not about the food you put in your mouth. Let me repeat that. Your health is largely not about the food you put in your mouth. This may be triggering to you. You may not agree with what I have to say, but hear me out. And of course, there are loads of caveats about this statement because food is important. What we fuel our body with matters. Let me try to explain to you why I hold this belief. And this is through my own personal experience. For most of my life, I have suffered from digestive problems. In fact, ever since I was born with digestive problems. And in my mid-20s was when I started getting cystic acne, amongst many other symptoms that I had. That was the one that I cared about the most. Into my 30s and my 40s, it was the worst it had been in my entire life. So while my digestion sucked for most of my life, and this was a lot of bloating, a lot of pain, and constipation, once the acne started on my beautiful face, I couldn't handle it. You know, people can't see the constipation, the bloating, the discomfort that you feel, but they could definitely see the acne. And I had some major fears around being judged on my looks. However, I made the link between food and acne, that it was what caused it or what triggered it to occur. What made sense to me was that food was connected to my digestion, so it must be the cause of my digestive problems, right? And people tell me that the state of my digestive system leads to my symptoms. According to nutritionists that I saw, I had leaky gut and other inflammatory conditions in my bowels, which was causing my issues, and this needed to be resolved by eating only foods that didn't further inflame my gut. That meant cutting out gluten, dairy, sugar, being mindful of foods like nightshades, starchy foods, high fiber foods, which I was told caused things like bloating and gas and all of the problems. So I'd made this link between things that I did or things that I experienced, and that led to acne. Here are some of the beliefs that I held. So being constipated meant acne. Dairy meant acne. Sugar equaled acne. Gluten equaled acne. Junk food equaled acne. Gas and bloating equaled acne. My period equaled acne. So I concluded after many experiments that the best diet for me was all meat, only meat, otherwise acne. But underneath, I thought that people would think I'm disgusting because I had acne. Because if I had acne, that meant I was ugly. I also was too old in my mind to be having acne, and that was problematic for me. And then going even deeper, no one will love me if I have acne, which really deeply translated to I don't love myself. When I started doing mindset work in 2020, my acne flared up really badly. My physical body was struggling to keep up with the big transformation that was happening inside of me. I was in a challenging environment. I felt misunderstood and disrespected and completely out of my power, without the space to be who I wanted to be. And these feelings, as well as the massive amounts of growth, continued into 2021. It wasn't until 2022 that things started to normalize. And then I took a really deep dive into the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, deepening my connection to self and my understanding of my mind. Now I was ready to open and really let change in. And it just so happened to be with his work. So through this work, I learned more about my energy body and how to move my energy like never before. And in this process, I started to notice how light I was feeling, how much clearer I was feeling, how much calmer I was feeling. And I started to notice that I didn't have any more room in my mind for these old beliefs. I love dairy. Cream is one of my most favorite things in the world. I woke up one day and pronounced that from this day on, I was no longer sensitive to dairy, and it did not result in acne. That is literally how it happened. I just woke up, I got out of bed, and I said, screw this, I am eating all the dairy and it's not going to affect me. And this is literally how it remained. I had no further breakouts after eating dairy. I then decided it would be the same for other foods that I wanted to eat, like croissants, which I also love. And then one day I decided that constipation, or a day without a bowel movement, did not result in acne either. I also decided that my period did not cause acne. It's really hard to explain that the symptoms just stopped when I decided these things, but this is how I will explain it. In changing my beliefs, I changed who I was. When you change who you are, that old version of Bianca, the one who suffered from acne, no longer existed. I upgraded who I was, and I became a version of myself that doesn't get acne. But most importantly, the other things that shifted were I no longer hated myself. In fact, I loved myself. My years of work of journaling and mindset work and affirmations and meditation and breath work and moving and changing my energy, all things that I teach in my one-on-one coaching, started becoming my reality. And I'm not perfect. My health still has a ways to go, and I may be working on it for the rest of my time here, and that's okay. But what I do have is connection and awareness. I have the awareness to connect, and I have the awareness to shift my energy. So have a think about what beliefs about your health you're holding on to, and decide if you still want to believe them or if you're ready to let them go. Of course, please be responsible. If you suffer from anaphylaxis from nuts, please do not go and start eating nuts, okay? I do not want you to have any serious problems, but I want you to start becoming aware of your thoughts, the thoughts that you're having around food. And I want you to start to become aware of how these feelings are being stored in your body. Because every time you think these thoughts, when you're eating food or when you're thinking about what's causing what, they create a familiar feeling in your body. That might be guilt, it might be shame, frustration, anger, and these store in your body if you don't move them. So the first step is always awareness, and start to talk your thoughts out loud to yourself or to someone who loves you, who will listen to you. Don't be ashamed when you vocalize them, but rather be proud that you're identifying them and have compassion for your bravery to actually admit them. And if you don't want to talk your thoughts out, journal them, but get them out. Get them out of here. Then find a way to move your energy. Yoga, breath work, meditation, dancing, singing, screaming into a pillow, shaking, tremoring, whatever feels good in the moment. And when you're ready for support in doing this, I'm here to help with my coaching and breathwork program. And in this program, we'll move lots of energy, and I'll help you to go deeper into the inner workings of your mind and figure out how to change your thoughts. So if you're interested, please click the book now button and let's chat all things transformation. Thank you so much for being here. Hopefully this will help you go a little deeper on what you think, what you feel, and what you believe. Sending you so much love. Have a beautiful day.